So what is an altered dominant scale and how can I use that? Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Rich Kettner. Welcome to Starry Night Guitars. I'm going to talk today about the altered dominant scale. So that might seem like kind of heady stuff, but hang with me. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. So what is an altered dominant? Essentially what it is, if you play a dominant chord, say E7, right? Altered means when you take the fifth scale degree and either make it a flat 5 or sharp 5, or the 9, make it a sharp 9 or flat 9. So a perfect example that most people are familiar with would be E7 sharp 9. Some would call that the Hendrix chord. Right? Obviously it existed way before Jimi Hendrix, but for today's video, we're going to use that. So for several decades, I've tried to wrap my brain around this scale and how to use it. I was aware of it. A couple of problems. One, I couldn't get the sound in my ear. And secondly, I just kind of couldn't figure out how to put it into my playing. And I would only dabble at it and then put it away and come back to it later and kind of dabble at it. And I never could kind of sink my teeth into it. So just recently, I think I've had a the clouds parting and a aha moment. The reason the scale sounds so great is that within it are all the possible altered tones of a scale. The flat 9, the sharp 9, the natural third, the sharp 4, or you can think of it as flat 5, the sharp 5, the flat 7, and again the root. So here's an example of the scale over an E altered chord. One way I've heard it taught was when you have an altered chord, think of the melodic minor scale a half step above the root. Okay, well that works if you know what a melodic minor scale is. So I'm going to assume, depending on what level you might be at in your guitar playing, let's assume you know a major scale. If we're doing an E altered, a half step above E is F natural. So if I first think of an F major scale, it's from F to F, all notes are natural except the B is flat. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E natural, F. To make a major scale into a melodic minor scale, you just take the third and lower it a half step. So now if I play from F to F, if you know the major scale, you can think major scale, but take the third, half step lower, you get this sound. So part of what sounds cool is you have the major 7 against the flat 3. Right? That's already a pretty cool sound. But if I play it over the E7 altered, here's the sound we get. Right? So that's very cool. As I said, I've tried for a long time to wrap my brain around this unsuccessfully. And I have a shelf down here that's full of music books. I've played guitar for about 55 years, and probably like a lot of you, I have lots of books. And I've been guilty of this is going to be the book that's going to open Pandora's box, and suddenly I'll have full awareness, or I'm going to understand the mysteries of jazz guitar. And of course, that never happens. I may get a book and I get something good out of it, but other books, you get them like, well, at least for me, the way I learned, that didn't work for me. I got this book right here. It's by a guy named Jody Fisher. I used to live in Southern California in Riverside County, and that was in the 90s to 2020. And when I lived there, if you lived in Riverside County, or something what they call the Inland Empire, the Riverside area, Jody was the jazz guru. If you're going to take jazz lessons with someone, Jody would be the guy. He's written lots of books. He's a prolific writer. This one is published by Alfred. He used to also be a part of this organization that would have like summer camps, guitar camps. People would come from all over the country, even all over the world, and go to these different areas for like a week. You stay on a college campus, and there'd be a dozen different guitar teachers of all different styles. And people would come of all ages and all ability levels and work at these guitar camps. Jody was a key person involved in that. Great player. So I got this book. It's on chord melody, and I worked to the beginning of it, and it's like I got nothing out of it. So it went on the shelf. It's probably been there for 2 years. And just a few days ago, I decided I have to clean my shelf up some, and I was going to toss this book and throw it away. I thought, I'm not finding anything of value. And fortunately, before I did that, I said, you know what, let me flip to the back of the book, because I had tried the earlier pages, and to see if there's something in the back, maybe, that I would like to work on. And I came across this section, if I can find it now without my glasses, 156, I believe it was. And chapter 16, Super Locrian Scale. So without going into a bunch of theory, essentially the Super Locrian Scale is the same as an altered dominant scale that I played for you. Same sound. And what Jody did that opened my mind up, which just makes perfect sense, is he had a scale here. For instance, I put my glasses on. He has the G Locrian, and he shows all the intervals: root, flat 9, sharp 9, 3, flat 5, or you can think of it as sharp 11, sharp 5, or flat 13, flat 7, root, and that's Super Locrian. Here's, if we did it in D. And then what he does, and this is the part that was so valuable, he then shows chord forms or grids. I'll put it here in the video. Starting that scale from the lowest note and playing the shape. So for instance, D Super Locrian. So here's D, the root, the little note you can play, and hang with me. This is a little bit of theory, but hopefully it makes sense. Here's D, F of B, the sharp 9. So here's sharp 9, natural third. G sharp or A flat is flat 5. B flat or A sharp, sharp 5. C is flat 7. D is the root. And then continuing from there, here was the D, E flat's flat 9, F is sharp 9, F sharp is 3. A flat, flat 5, A sharp, B flat, C, root again, flat 9, sharp 9, 3, sharp 4, sharp 5. So that was one position. Then he goes to starting on the 4th fret. This is starting on the flat 5, sharp 5, flat 7, root, flat 9, sharp 9, 3, sharp 4, or flat 5, sharp 5, root, I'm sorry, flat 7, root, flat 9, sharp 9, 3rd, flat 5, sharp 5, and he does that all the way up the neck. So for me, that was a light bulb going off, because the way I've been going through it is what I just did. I know on guitar, a lot of people can play shapes or patterns, and that works for them. That doesn't work for me. Because if I play a shape and then I stop and say, what note was that? If I don't know the note in relation to the chord, that doesn't work for me. So if I'm playing this chord here, which is like an E altered, right? If I don't know the notes that will fit to that chord, I don't see how that's of any benefit to me, right? So rather than playing box shapes, when I say the note names, then it starts to sink in my brain and I start to get it. So I've only been working on this for about 2 days. What I'm trying to do is do it in different keys. And I'll start with the lowest scale degree that's in this altered scale and go up to like the 10th, 12th fret and across all of them. So what I'm finding is the shapes are all different. It reminds me of, if you've ever seen the TV show Monk, with that character, Adrian Monk. And he used to always say, It's a blessing and a curse. My point would be this. If I wanted to do the D Locrian on a piano, you start on D, the D right next to middle C, there's only one D right there. There's only one octave, one possibility, if you start on that particular note. If I wanted to do it off of D, I have this D, this D, this D, this D. And then in addition to that, or say I start on this D, I can start it off my index finger, but I can also start it off my pinky. Or this one off my pinky, or off my middle finger, or off my index finger. So that's the blessing and curse thing. It's all these other options we have as guitar players, but if you don't do a deep dive, for me at least, if I don't do a deep dive and know all those options, I don't really know it. You know, I know some patterns, some shapes that are little boxes you can do, but again, if I don't stop and think it through while I play it, I'm really not learning it. So, all that to say, Jody Fisher, I apologize. Thank you for this material. And I know some of you might say, I don't get that. Maybe you can just hear that tonality. For me, I just couldn't wrap my brain around that sound. This is helping me to kind of get it under my fingers. So, if anyone else's brain works like me, Jody also has a couple pages, 2 or 3 pages of chords, some great altered dominant chord shapes that go with this in different positions, and some very cool voicings that I had not seen before. One last passing thing. I believe decades ago, he was a student of Ted Green's. So those of you that are familiar with Ted Green, they'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Pretty sure he studied with Ted. I'm not positive, but he's from California. I would be surprised if he did not study with Ted at one point. This book was Jody Fisher's Jazz Guitar Chord Melody Course, The Jazz Guitarist's Guide to Solo Guitar Arranging and Performance. So as far as solo guitar stuff, I can't recommend that. But if you're interested in wrapping your brain around this altered dominant sound, I found it very beneficial. I hope you found something of value in this. Wish you all the best. Enjoy the journey.